Hello, this is Rebekah, and I am going to give you a full moon lunar eclipse report for Pillars of the Moon. Hi guys, hi lovelies, I hope that you're all doing well. Wow, this is such big energy, isn't it? Like this eclipse season is bringing through some really big, deep stuff for us, and yeah, I'm definitely feeling it myself, and I'm definitely witnessing it in those around me. Yeah, so I'm coming into this report today and I'm really not sure of the direction it's going to take. I've written a few notes and things, but I feel like I'm really just going to flow with what's coming through and what wants to be shared. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And this is the energy of now, right? It's like, wow, you just have to see what happens. And it's a lot, I feel, about control and letting go and surrendering to the old patterns and cycles that we've been in on a personal level and globally as well. And so Saturn has just gone retrograde, and Pluto is retrograde as well in Sagittarius, and Saturn is in Capricorn. And yeah, and now Mercury's about to go retrograde as well. So there's quite a lot of retrograde action happening, but that just means, you know, that those energies or those planetary energies are starting to go backwards. You know, they're going back in to reflect and review and retreat. And so, yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people actually sharing that they're going to go on retreat or go on holiday or go get away or connect to nature, you know, and that could be a real good medicine for this time. I was speaking to a brother yesterday who was talking about going and doing a vision quest in Dartmoor, which is the wild lands of England. And that feels like, yeah, it could be really powerful thing to do if you have the space available to do that. Yeah, so I'm going to bring up the Stellarium web page so you can see the live sky and what's going on in the actual sky today. So here we go. Right, so this is the Stellarium web, and you can get this on your mobile as well. This is just the online version on the computer, which yeah, it's much easier on the phone actually. It tends to jump around a lot on the computer. So yeah, so you can see this is the sky right now. And so you can see that the moon is just at the end of Virgo. These are the stars of constellation Virgo, and it's actually moving into Libra right now. So it's transitioning. The moon is moving from one phase into the next sign. And then by the time it gets to the full moon, so I'm just going to change the time down here. So the full moon, by the way, will be on the 26th of May. So I'm just going to change it, the date here, to the 26th of May. And the time will be at 12:13 in the afternoon. That's in the GMT time zone, just after midday. So we won't actually be able to see the total lunar eclipse here in England where I am. But those of you who are over in Australia, New Zealand, I think some of the South of America can see it, and some of I think East Asia can see. But you can find out on timeanddate.com if you can see it and what time. So yeah, I'm just going to flick right in the moon here because I can't see it right now. Here it is. Okay, so this will be at the time of the full moon. You can even see it's a red colour. This is going to be a blood moon, and it's also going to be a super moon, and it's also known as the flower moon. So we could call it a super flower blood full moon lunar eclipse, which is very fitting for the Scorpio energy, isn't it? It's very powerful indeed. So lunar eclipses, for me, as I shared in my last post, you know, it feels like the descending energy. And the blood moon actually has been quite, I won't say feared, but the ancient people or the indigenous people, You know, they really feel like the blood moon is very auspicious because it's red, you know. So, and red is also the color of the Shakti triangle, you know, the descending serpent energy, which is taking us down into the underworld, taking us down into the womb. It's like this is the energy of the mysteries. You know, so the lunar eclipse, you know, the lunar energy is very feminine. It is descending and feeling, and it's our emotions, and it's releasing, and it's the blood, it's the menstruation, it's the release and the letting go. So the lunar eclipse at this time, you know, it is aligned with the south node of the moon. And the south node of the moon is known as the dragon's tail, or our collective karma and baggage and past that we need to move on from. So this blood moon, you know, it's asking us to embody the blood, embody the menstruation, you know, the releasing of the scorpion, you know, to really tune into this past, tune into this that needs to be released, that in like a form of menstruation. You know, if we're not bleeding, you know, we could do a releasing ceremony, you know, to, you know, really release these things. And so looking at our journey over the last few weeks since the new moon, which was 2 weeks ago, you know, the sun was actually in the constellation of Aries at that time, and it was right next to the black moon Lilith. And so I've been talking a lot about Lilith as well in my recent posts, because Lilith to me is a symbol of the serpent as well, you know. And so this energy of the serpent is what began at the new moon 2 weeks ago. So during these last 2 weeks, you know, it's like we've been walking with Lilith towards this lunar eclipse. And what does she represent? You know, to me, she is the keeper of our shadows. She's the keeper of our fears. And what makes the moon red at this time is it's reflecting the Earth's shadow. You know, so our shadows, our collective shadows of the Earth, of Gaia, of all of us, are being reflected onto the moon. So when we're looking at the moon and it's red, this is our shadow that we are looking at. And so this began on the new moon 2 weeks ago, where we met with Lilith. Lilith eclipsed the sun on the new moon. And it was like, okay, so now we are really being called to reflect on our shadows, you know, and Pluto being retrograde as well is reflecting on the dark, on the power struggles, on our, you know, our relationship to power and control. And now Saturn going retrograde as well, just before this full moon, which is coming up on Wednesday. It's like the systems and structures of power and control in our collective shadow, you know, that is now being illuminated by this eclipse and full moon. You know, and so using the power of the red, of the blood, of the menstruation in ceremony to, you know, really come into our power. You know, this is about coming into our power and knowing that we can release these old cycles, you know, through shaking, through dance, through, you know, screaming in a safe, contained way, of course, you know, or if we're menstruating, if anybody is menstruating, any bleeding wombs out there at the time of this full moon, please, you know, use your sacred blood on the land and really use this opportunity, because if you're bleeding on this lunar eclipse, my goodness, this is powerful. You know, this is a rites of passage and a release that is rare. You could release for all of us. I'm pregnant at the moment, so I'm not releasing blood, but I will do a ritual. I'll probably do a ceremony in the garden here. Yeah, so it's a really powerful thing to be experiencing these energies right now. So I just wanted to send you all so much love, you know, for all that we are experiencing. And so, you know, what is Scorpio teaching us? You know, so the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio is incredibly deep, you know, and it could be connected to the mysteries, hidden secrets of our past, of course, with the South Node and karma. Could be to do with our sexuality, our sexual desires, our sexual preferences, sexual secrets. You know, and Juno is also really close to this full moon as well, the asteroid Juno. And so she's in a focus at the moment, which is right next to you. Let's just see if I can bring her up. Here she is. Yeah, so there's Juno in a focus up here. So she's really connected to this energy, you know, and she's the wife of Jupiter. She is, you know, symbolic of our commitments and marriage. You know, so the secrets that might be coming up might be connected to our marriages and our commitments to each other. You know, this could be a really difficult time for some relationships because, you know, what is being brought to the surface, you know, it has a big Plutonian energy of death and endings of cycles, endings of power battles and dynamics, you know, and things not being in balance, you know. So it could feel like really about endings of cycles. There could be death coming in relationships, you know, and also death of certain ideas in relationships, or the way that we've been relating. It might not be that a relationship is ending, but that a part of the relationship is ending, you know, a way that we have been with others, you know. So it might be coming into our awareness a lot. We also, you know, are being called to really look at our fears at this time. So the last 2 weeks, the people that have come into our lives, you know, and the scenarios that have been playing out for us are really showing us, it's showing us what we need to see, you know, in ourselves and in each other. And this is our invitation to really, you know, witness those things and take them to the gateway of this transformative portal of this full moon. So I see it like, you know, we've met with Lilith at the new moon. She's like, okay, I'm here. I'm your gateway to transformation, you know, and she's guiding us. And she's guiding us down her slippery snake's tail into the underworld of our psyche. You know, and this could be really connected to, like I've said before, the energy of Scorpio, sex, desires, secrets, hidden knowledge. This could be to do with the occult. This could be to do with all of the mysteries, the blood mysteries. You know, we are being pulled down with Lilith. She's like, so for me, you know, it's quite cool for me to share my personal journey. I won't go too deep into it because it is very personal what I've been experiencing. You know, but I've been meeting with my Lilith all for the last 2 weeks, you know, and I've had a few opportunities where I've actually met with women, you know, and I've had to confront or really look at some of my biggest traumas and my biggest wounds and my biggest fears, you know. And so now as I'm going towards this gateway of transformation, I can really say, okay, I know what this is about for me now. I know what I'm bringing to the table, you know, because Lilith has clearly shown me over these last 2 weeks what this is about for me, what the themes are, and what I'm transforming. And so this fear that has been in power of me and controlling me for my whole life, it's like now I've witnessed it and I've seen it, and I've actually gone face to face with that which I was so scared of, you know, and gone, hi, I'm ready to meet with you. Even though that scares the shit out of me, I want to talk about this. I want to go there, you know. And it's like digging up the deepest, most tender, most, you know, it's deep down in the waters of Scorpio. It's in the bottom of the ocean. So it's like the last 2 weeks we've been swimming down into this watery depths of Scorpio. Now we're here, you know, we're at the bottom, and we're finding the treasure here, you know. And what I've found from actually having the courage to call my fear to me, you know, and actually going to those places that are terrifying and saying, okay, what's here? I'm curious, you know, what is so scary in this place? And now I'm recognizing that in all of that fear is actually so much treasure. You know, I could actually, if I walk towards that which I'm really afraid of, I might find many gifts there, you know. And I had this happen, you know, younger in my life as well, where I had this massive fear of speaking in front of groups, which comes from my feminine line. And I was terrified of it. I couldn't do it, you know, and I used to sit in circle and like freak out. And suddenly, like, it started to occur to me, this is a real big theme for me. And I don't know how it happened now, but I ended up hosting my own circle one day. And I remember the whole time just shaking and being like, oh, I can't do this. What's happening? This is so scary. But I did it, you know, and everybody was like, wow, that was great. We really enjoyed it. And I was like, fuck, I was terrified the whole time, you know. But it's like I met with that part of myself then that I was scared of. And then, you know, I've been a group facilitator for many years since then, you know, so it's like it's part of my gift was in the dark, you know, it was in my fears, was where my gifts were. So this is what I'm trying to share, you know, that just because we're afraid of something doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean we have to cut it off and shed it, but it could be like an opportunity to come more into wholeness, you know, to really meet with these fears and to see Lilith as our friend, you know, as our ally. The serpent has been demonized throughout history, and actually, like, the serpent is our kundalini, the serpent is our awakening, you know. So in meeting with these depths within ourselves, which is what this full moon is all about, you know, it gives us an opportunity to become more of ourselves and to heal the karma and the trauma by loving it, you know, by seeing these fears as a real gateway for our expansion. It's a gateway for our freedom and to come into our power, because then that fear, it's not ruling us anymore. You know, we are side by side with that fear, saying, thank you for showing me that I was afraid to do this. Thank you for showing me my shadows. You know, we could say thank you to this full moon coming up. Thank you for showing me all that I needed to see in myself, you know, that I haven't been able to see, that's being reflected to me by the moon, by those around me, you know. So it's huge, this energy, and it's definitely a pathway of the courageous. I was talking a lot in my new moon video about the royal stars, and Antares is one of the 4 royal stars. It's the gatekeeper of the West, you know. So the West, you know, when you look at the medicine wheel, the West is all, it's connected to water. The West is connected to death and transformation. You know, it's before we ascend. So the way that I see the skies is very much like this. You know, you meet with the transformation and the endings and the death of Scorpio and the endings of a cycle of the West, you know, and in that, you know, then comes the ascension. So first we have to die. And this is the big part of it. This is why this full moon is in Scorpio. Part of us has to die. Things that aren't serving us have to die. And that doesn't mean, you know, that those things are terrible things, but it's just that we are ready to change, that we're ready for a shift and to move on into a new dawn. So the waning energy, you know, the descending energy after this full moon, you know, as we're going into the, you know, the descent of the moon as it wanes away towards its last quarter, which will be in Aquarius. It really is about this letting go and really kind of saying, okay, so I'm transforming now. And in allowing things to fall away, like the snake sheds its skin, right? So it's like Lilith is taking this skin off, this layer off. But first we have to face it, you know, we have to really look at it and really witness, behold it, and bring it into our hearts, you know, so that we can consciously you know, let go with love, you know, because if we're letting go out of any other thing, you know, it's always still going to be this karmic pattern, you know. So if we're bringing it into love, it's like, wow, thank you for everything. Thank you for all that, you know, I've learned from this experience, from this relationship, from this job, from whatever it is that's closing now. And from that death, you know, we go down, we go in, you know, the downward facing triangle there, you know, and it's from there that because we return to the waters, we return to the ocean of Scorpio. And then, you know, we meet with the serpent of Ophiuchus, you know, and this is the boiling pot, this is the cauldron. And this is where, you know, the new cycle begins. So Ophiuchus, to me, you know, it's very symbolic of awakening, of consciousness, of the Christ consciousness, of the Kundalini. It's like, you know, we're starting at the base, at the root. You know, we're returning to the waters, to the ocean. And we're boiling that pot. And, you know, the Kundalini serpents start to move and they start to ascend. So this is the ascension energy that will come with the solar eclipse on the 10th of June. So Sagittarius to me, which is where the galactic center is, I'm just going to zoom out so you can see the galactic center here. So this is Sagittarius, this is where the galactic center is, but you can even see it kind of looks like a yoni. And this is Aquila, the eagle here, which is right next to the galactic center, you know, and you can see in all the ancient symbols, you know, of the serpent twining around the rod, you know, and then the eagle at the top. And so this is connected to Ophiuchus, you know, and so this is the eagle, Aquila here. So this is all at the galactic center. The galactic center, I believe, is the portal, you know, it's the gateway to other realms, to, you know, other galaxies, other planets, our star family, you know, I really do feel that. And, you know, I was talking a lot in my new moon video as well about Draco. Draco is right above here. So I feel like Draco is the guardian. The dragon is the guardian of the galactic center here, you know, and Cygnus, the swan, you know, is right next to the dragon as well. You know, so Cygnus is connected to, you know, Mary Magdalene. The swan energy is also connected to Bridget or Bridget Anna of the Sacred Isles where I'm on now. Also connected to Isis. Isis has swan wings, you know, so, and the swan are the wings of the angel, you know, of heaven. So I feel like this galactic center here is like a gateway to heaven, actually. And the golden gateway of the gods is said to be at the galactic center in Sagittarius, you know, so we shoot on through the portal here, whoosh, and we're up on with all the dragons and the angels in the heavenly realms. So yeah, so that was a bit of a digression, but that's just the way that I really vision it, you know, and experience it as a journey, as the stars are like, it's a spiral, you know, that's, and actually the energy of Scorpio and Ophiuchus is the spiral in. It's the downward twizzle, the downward triangle that's going down, the Shakti energy of the descending serpent, which, you know, we're going down, down, down into the depths of the underworld to then spiral back up again and meet with the heavenly realms. So if we're doing the work at this full moon, you know, coming up on Wednesday, we're really meeting with these parts of ourselves. If we're really doing that, you know, it's going to be incredibly powerful, because by the time we get to the new moon solar eclipse, this is our rebirth, this is our ascension, this is our awakening, you know, and this is on a collective global level, you know, so I can perceive that things around this full moon are going to be uncovered, you know, hidden things, hidden mysteries connected to occult and connected to sex, you know, and things like this that have been hidden. So on a global level, you know, you can feel like this mass awakening that's about to happen, of like things being exposed. You know, I keep hearing the word exposure, things coming to light, things being seen, the shadow is being illuminated from the dark of Scorpio. You know, it's showing us what has been hidden. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks, you know, with everything, what's going to happen. Because also we're being affected on a personal level as well. We have our own journeys with it. You know, lots of people, you know, leaving relationships, lots of people making big shifts in where they're living, you know, and all kinds of things, depending on your own personal chart and what this is bringing up for you. So it's massive, isn't it? I'm going to just have a little look at the chart, see if anything comes through for me to share from that. So let me draw on it for you. So you can see this is the full moon down here, which is in Scorpio. The south node is still in a focus, but they are together. And at this time, you know, the sun will be in Taurus still in the live sky, conjunct the north node. So this is what happens when we're at, you know, eclipses. The nodes are affected. This is how we get the eclipse. And so the sun, the moon, and the earth are all in alignment at this time, reflecting the earth's shadow back onto the moon, making it that red color. Lilith is now in Taurus, you know, so she's like holding the frequency. She's holding the anchor point over at Taurus, because this is where we're going at the new moon. You know, the new moon will be, I'll show you. The new moon will be, the solar eclipse on the 10th of June will be in Taurus. So, you know, Lilith is holding the gateway for us now at the full moon. So she's like, okay, guys, this is where we're going. We're going towards Taurus. So that's what's coming. That's where our North Node is. That's our collective destiny. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But, you know, because it does come as a union. It's a unit, it's a season, it's working together. So we're beginning here. This is our lunar eclipse in Scorpio. We're transforming the old, letting go of the karma, really facing our fears, coming into our power with them, you know, being the rider of the dragon, not the slayer of the dragon. And this is my slogan for this full moon. Ride the dragon, don't slay it. Because if you kill the dragon, that's an incredible power, you know, that you're missing out on. Saying, oh my gosh, you know, that's too scary, I'm just going to kill it. But actually, you know, dragons are not all bad, you know, like, it reminds me of, oh, you know, that moment in the movie Avatar, I bet all of you have seen that movie, where the guy at the end goes and rides the biggest dragon that everyone's like, whoa, you know, if you ride that, you're like super guru, special dude, you know, and he did it, and he befriended the biggest dragon, the most scary dragon, and came back into the village when the community was burning, you know, and it needed help, and he came on his dragon like, look, we can do it, we can do anything. This could be what we're called to do now, you know. It's like that big thing that's so scary, it's time to ride it, you know. And this is, it feels like in doing that, you know, this will save the community, this will bring us into our power. And this is what we need, you know. We need to be in our power, not to be controlled by something outside of ourselves, but to be the driver of our dragon, of our vehicle. So yeah, it's incredibly potent, isn't it? Whew. So yeah, as I was saying, the goddess Juno, she's right next to it as well. This is Juno. So this could be why, you know, we're having things coming up, or we may be having things coming up around our commitments and our marriages, our relationships. Scorpio's energy being very sexual, you know, as well, could be past traumas to do with sexuality, or hidden secrets in our own sexuality, you know, things that we might be having to look at now. Yeah, so as I was saying, Saturn's now gone retrograde. Pluto is also retrograde. Mercury's about to go retrograde. I think it's the 29th when he goes retrograde. He's on his station and he's going to be starting to go backwards pretty soon. So, you know, we're starting to reflect a lot more on these places, you know. So what is that? You know, reflecting on our communication with Mercury, reflecting on our relationship with power, Pluto, and on our truth and boundaries as well, because it's in Sagittarius. So Pluto and Sagittarius could be bringing up a lot of power issues and boundary issues connected to, and looking at our truths around all of that. Saturn going retrograde, you know, it's about reflecting on the structures and systems of control that we may have been in. You know, I got the devil card today, and it's like the devil is on the top of the tower, you know, and it's about, you know, he's in control of this system, of this triangle, and, you know, how that it can be really not so good to be on top of that tower and actually be in more of a cyclical or spiral way where everybody's involved and everybody's held is actually a really nourishing and complete way of living. And this is connected to the patriarchy as well, you know, and how, you know, there's a certain amount of people in the world that have got lots of money and there's not. It's like, so it feels like this is a big time of reflection to do with all of these issues on a global level and in our personal lives. Something that I mentioned as well at the new moon was Neptune and Pallas together here in Pisces. So the goddess Pallas, you know, she's connected to Athena. She's super intelligent. She's the woman that goes in court with all the fellas and is like, no, this is the way, this is not right. You know, so she represents justice. She represents truth. She represents wisdom and intuition as well. She's incredibly powerful. So when she's teaming up with Neptune, it's like she's bringing so much clarity and intuition into the unseen realms of Neptune. You know, she is tapping into the dream world and saying, okay, let's just remove this veil. You know, let's really see things clearly and really use that integrity and wisdom to share, you know, that which is not being seen. So this could be a time of really starting to see things a lot clearer on a global scale and personally. Also, it's definitely an opportunity to work through, you know, our vision and what we want to see, and also to really use the power of manifestation and the power of prayer to really call those things in as well. Definitely powerful. And also the planet Uranus is in Aries, and this is right next to Ceres and our MC, and this is in the 10th house. So the 10th house is the house of Ophiuchus. You know, so this is connected to our hidden gifts and magic and Kundalini and awakening. So to have Uranus here in this place, in the place of awakening, you know, right next to our MC and Ceres is all about mother and nurturing. And it really does feel like in Aries, it's a new cycle, a new beginning, which is connected to our gifts, which is connected to Kundalini awakening. You know, so this is incredibly like magical energy. This is psychic energy. This is because Uranus is like that electric lightning bolt of awakening. You know, so to be in the house of Ophiuchus at this time, it makes me feel like we are being shaken and awoken. You know, we might be getting struck by lightning, hopefully not, but not in the real thing, but like, you know, something is going to strike us and go, whoa, make us a shock, maybe a sudden change or a shift that's going to make us go, whoa, I can see things differently now. You know, with Pallas next to Neptune, it's like, wow, I've got the vision, I can see. You know, the blurred lines are clearing. Yeah, so that's what that feels like to me. Wow. So I think I'm just going to pop over to I'm just going to do the last quarter moon in June. Last quarter moon in June. That rhymes, doesn't it? Yeah. last quarter moon in June will be in Aquarius. So where are you? Here we are. It's going to make it a bit thicker so we can see. Yeah, so this is the last quarter moon in Aquarius, which will be on the 2nd of June. You know, so we are having our lunar eclipse over here in Scorpio, and then we're moving on around. This is our descending lunar energy, you know, which is going to take us into our solar eclipse. The solar eclipse will be over here. And I mentioned before in my video about the 4 royal stars which are being activated by this eclipse, which are Antares, which is the guardian of the west over here in Scorpio, Fomalhaut, which is in the constellation of the Astralis Pisces, which is just underneath Aquarius. So this is about here. This is where the northern gateway is. And then the eastern gateway is Aldebaran, which is in Taurus, which is where our sun is right now. Our sun is right next to the Pleiades right now as well, which is incredibly powerful indeed. So you can just see the potency of all of this. This is not a walk in the park. This is not rainbows and butterflies. This is global transformation, everyone. Anyway, so yeah, the east gateway we have over here, which is Aldebaran, which is the guardian of the east. And then in the south, we have Regulus, which is the heart of the lion, which is over here. So you can see we've got things happening at each of the gateways, and we've got Vesta in Leo as well. And she's in trine to Lilith, you know, so it's just so like crazy. All of this energy is like so transformative. So back to the last quarter moon. The last quarter moon, which will be in Aquarius, you know, Jupiter is in Aquarius as well. You know, the last quarter moon is going to be really close to the northern gateway. You know, so we are looking at our wisdom at this time. We are being called into our wisdom, into the mastery and the magic of the magician. You know, so this is incredibly potent, and I really feel like, you know, because then we're going to be moving on over to our new moon coming over here. So the new moon will be on the 10th of June, as I've shared before. And yeah, so look at all of this, you know, and we've even got Lilith is over here, the MC is here. This is massive Taurus energy for this eclipse that's coming up on the 10th of June. This is a complete new beginning, you know, and I'm really excited for it, but we definitely have to do the work. You know, we have to go into the underworld and see that which needs to be seen, to be able to be reborn, to shed those skins. Whew. I think I'm going to stop talking now. I'm not even sure how long I've been talking for, but I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And yeah, if you have any questions, please do let me know. I'd love to talk with you. Please get in touch. And yeah, I just want to wish you all so much love. And yeah, if there are things that you want to release, you know, please do a ceremony. If you're menstruating, super powerful, you know, really anchoring that blood down into the earth, you know, and using it as a vessel for transformation. Yeah, so I just, yeah, bless you all, and thank you so much for all your support and all my new subscribers and followers. I'm really grateful for all of you. And yeah, we're 20 weeks pregnant next week, I think, or next Thursday. So yeah, we're halfway, everyone. Can't believe it, but feeling quite good in my body, and yeah, really loving being pregnant. Oh, so that's all folks, but yeah, I will see you at the solar eclipse in 2 weeks. So blessed descending into the underworld. Lots of love. Mwah. Ciao, darlings.